Hi guys. In this video, I will show you how I shoot super slow motion video of milk drop on a coffee and milk drop collisions using my Samsung Galaxy A71. I will use my DIY shutter release cable for smartphone, which I created in a separate video. If you have not seen that, please try watching. I added the link in the description. I will integrate the cable to my smartTrigger, the one I am using for high-speed photography. I explained my smartTrigger high-speed photography kit in a separate video. If you want to know about it, please watch also my other video. I also added that link in the description. To create the drop and the drop collisions, I will need very precise electronic controlled milk dropper. The one that fits the requirement is a solenoid valve. Here, I bought this from Shopee Philippines, and this comes from China. This is a 12-volt DC solenoid valve, and the lower voltage rating will be perfect for my smartTrigger. This is a 6.5 watts, 540 milliamps solenoid valve, and is made of metal. I've seen some other versions that are made of hard plastics. I will need a nozzle and a liquid reservoir, attached to the inlet and outlet of this valve. I plan to attach the liquid reservoir directly on the inlet portion. Here is the nozzle that I have. This is already used and the nozzle diameter is about 5 mm. That is a little bit big, and my drops will be also big if I use it. However, I prefer a smaller nozzle diameter, and fortunately I have this 3 mm nozzle. I'm gonna use the smaller one. This nozzle is actually a 1/4 male thread barb hose tail connector, but it is perfect as drop nozzle. I will now connect it to the outlet of the solenoid valve. For the liquid reservoir, I will try using this small cylindrical container, and will directly attach it on top of the valve. I put some gasket on the depressed portion of the plastic container in the hope that it will stop water leak. But after finishing all the connections, I found water is leaking between the connector and the plastic container. The reason is the bottom is not really flat, and the improvised gasket cannot stop the leak. So I have to change my design. Instead, I am going to use this thick PET bottle since the previous option is not possible. I will directly connect the cap of this PET bottle to the inlet of the valve, using a pneumatic male connector. Later, I can just screw in the main bottle, and this will be a little bit convenient. I need to make the hole of the cap bigger. Sorry, this is not the best way to do it, so be very careful in doing this. Let us see if the pneumatic connector will fit snugly on this cap. Nope. Need a bigger hole. The pneumatic connector is now fitted snugly to the cap. Let us put some hot glue which will act as sealant. Next, I have to cut the bottle. I will also use the other half bottom as cover. I will now connect the cap since the hot glue has now cooled down. I will do some leak test to confirm if this dropper kit is okay. I put some water in the bottle which act as reservoir. I will also try some drops with my smartTrigger. I will try a longer turn on here at about 3 seconds, and let us see if water will flow. Once I push this button, the solenoid valve controller will turn on the valve based on my settings. Okay. Valve is working perfectly. And there is no leak. We are now good to go. This is my work table when shooting super slow motion videos. I will now gonna do the setup. First, I have to fix this wooden base to the metal structure here. This is actually the metal frame of an old baby chair. I will now fix the solenoid valve to the base. I will just tie it up with a garden wire. Next, I will now attach the photo gate sensor. I will attach it in such a way, the falling milk drop coming from the nozzle, must pass through its gate for the detection. I will attach it temporarily using a hot glue. I will now connect the wires to the smartTrigger. This red-black wire is the terminal of the solenoid valve, so I will attach it here. The black wire is the photo gate sensor wires and I will connect it to the sensor input. I prepared here a coffee on a cup, so I will place it here. I will now do some trial dispensing to purge some trapped air inside. It is very important that there is no trapped air to achieve stable drops. I will now test if the photo gate sensor is correctly sensing the falling milk drops. I am going to set the solenoid valve to 1 drop only at around 20 milliseconds. When I push this red button, The solenoid valve will operate based on my settings, in this case will produce one drop. If this green LED lamp blinks, it means it is detecting the drop. Okay. It is blinking. Let us try one more time. Perfect, we are now ready to go. I will now connect my Samsung Galaxy A71 to the smartTrigger, using my DIY shutter release cable. The YTRRS jack will be connected to the smartphone. While the other black mono jack to the smartTrigger. I will show you one cycle of super slow motion capture which is highly automated in this setup. All I have to do is to push the button to start the solenoid valve, and the rest will be fully automated. As you can see, when I pushed this red button here, it will trigger the solenoid valve, and it will operate based on my setup. It will dispense a milk drop, and that milk drop will pass through the photo gate here. The photo gate will detect the falling milk drop, and will send signal to my smartTrigger that there was a drop. The milk will fall to the coffee underneath, and because the sensor has already told the smartTrigger that there is a drop, the smartTrigger, through the shutter release wire, will turn on the camera of the smartphone. The timing of the capture can be set as trigger delays in milliseconds. Let me show you one cycle in actual. I will now put the phone to super Slo-Mo mode. I will now push the red switch. There came the drop, and the smartphone has began capturing the event. I will play the just captured milk drop. Let us see it one more time. That is one cycle of super Slo-Mo videography. I will now do a multiple drop setup which will create collisions. In this setup, the second drop will collide with the reverberating splash created by the first drop. This collision is also called milk drop umbrella because of the apparent shape created by this event. I will set the two drops to be 80 milliseconds apart, and the size of each drop is same as 35 milliseconds. I will now push the button. Wow, did you see the collisions? I'm gonna fill the cup up to the brink in order for the milk drop to be higher. Let us try with this setup. I will now push the button. Wow, it's amazing to see such collisions. I'm gonna take more videos and will just select the best among them. That's all guys, and I do hope you learned something from this tutorial. Please give me like, leave a comment and subscribe to my channel if you find this helpful. Bye bye.